I guess you could call this What Are You? A look at biracial Asian American identity in America. Informally known as Anna Goes in Circles About Her Identity. To answer a big question, who are you? I am Anna. I'm a woman. I am biracial. I am Asian American. I was born and raised in America. I do not speak Tagalog. I do not surround myself with other Asian Americans. I don't even think of myself as Asian. I am as Asian as I am African by my mental association. My Filipino father didn't make an effort to expose me to Filipino culture. I have never even been to the Philippines. So why am I still considered Asian American? I am often treated differently because I have tan skin or eyes that are the slightest almond shape. I do not blend in with my mother's family because I'm clearly of another race. I do not blend in with my father's family because I am clearly of another race. I am stuck in my body and I often feel that I don't belong. But if not here, then where? A question I get a lot is, where are you from? Well, I'm from California. If you want to talk about my family, well, my mother's family originates from Europe, mostly Ireland. My father was born and raised in the Philippines. My father identifies as a Filipino man because he spent the first half of his life in the Philippines. He still speaks Tagalog around other Filipinos, but he speaks English perfectly without an accent. He is not ashamed of being Filipino, though he would never go back to living in the Philippines. My father pressures me to be Filipino. He wants and expects me to identify as a Filipino woman, and yet he has never provided me with an experience of Filipino culture. He wants so badly for me to act as though I am genuinely proud to be Filipino, though I feel as though I have no reason to be, just as I feel no ties to any of my mother's family's racial backgrounds. Everyone I meet eventually asks, "What are you?" And I really don't know how to answer that question. I usually respond with, "I'm white," because for some reason, that is an identity that people don't question further about typically. I also get, "But what else are you?" At which I usually let people guess, and I go with the most ridiculously improbable guess that they have. What am I? What kind of question is that anyway? It sounds like you want to know what species I am, but what you really want to know is which part of the world my family has lived in for a long time. Does that really even matter here, in California, where basically everyone's families are from somewhere else? Why is it that I, as an Asian American, get treated differently in this context? So how do you deal with biracial identity as an Asian American? I often pretend like I'm not anything but the stereotypical white. If I tell people that I'm just Asian, they force a lot of Chinese or Japanese stereotypes on me. I've been told many times in my life that I am chinky, although my eyes only barely resemble my father's, and his are very round. When I tell people that I'm Filipino, they assume I'm Catholic and going to nursing school. Stereotypes are tough for any racial group, but when you're associated with a lot of groups, it just means you have to deal with many more stereotypes than a monoracial person. As a generally ambiguous person in regards to race, I often feel the desire to perform an identity. My sense of detachment from a specific racial identity somewhat allows me to dabble in performing all kinds of identities. As a first-generation Asian American, it isn't hard to perform a much more exaggerated version of what I actually identify as, and I believe that all bi or multiracial people have to perform their identity to a certain extent. I know plenty of Asian Americans who strive to make themselves appear more white, and I do it as well constantly. We all want to belong, but we are who defines what belongs. Personally, I'm tired of being called Asian American or Asian or white or anything. I guess I don't know what to properly identify as, and I still don't know what to put on those surveys that ask what race you are. But I guess it doesn't really matter.